Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Repeat Ron, and today we're going to be doing another Killing Floor 2 tier list. This is going over all of the Medic's perks. We're going to be ranking them accordingly, and Medic has some really great perks, so let's get started. Our level 5 perks, we have Symbiotic Healing. This increases your total health by 25%, as well as it makes it so all healing that you do to your teammates rewards you with 6% of that healing back to you. This one did recently get nerfed. It used to be 10% that was returned back to you. Now it's 6%. It's still pretty strong. You still get a lot of healing back from this. And the plus 25% health is a nice bonus for Medic to have. Medic is already a pretty tanky class, one of the tankiest classes in the game. This makes him a little bit more tanky, and it helps the team out. I think I'd put this one, I think I'd actually put it into A tier now. Really solid all around. No real complaints, but it's not as strong as it used to be. Well, I don't know. I think I'd move it to the low end of S tier. It's still really good. It's still like a straight bonus in terms of health, but then it gets another effect added on it that makes it so you can regenerate that health even easier. Our other level 5 perk is Resilience, and Resilience makes it so for every 1% of HP that you're missing, you get 1% added defense to that, or damage resist towards everything from that, up to 60%. For whatever reason, they used to buff this one, at least during, I think it was the beta, they buffed it up to 70% and then realized how ridiculous this skill is because people started using it then. It was ridiculous before when it was at 50%, and it's still really, really strong. This makes it so you can tank through a lot of hits, even more than you would think, because Medic's syringe is on a lower cooldown than everybody else's, so you get it back faster, as well as it heals for more. Healing grenades can also help sustain you at this somewhat low health, and if you can kind of stay at around 60-ish% or so, you can take a surprising amount of damage for a very long time. I would probably put this one up into S tier too. I think it's actually better than Symbiotic Healing in some ways. Symbiotic Healing is generally easier to use. You don't have to think about it. Well, sort of. You don't really have to think of Resilience either. But pacing out your heals can help more with Resilience than it will with Symbiotic Healing. Symbiotic Healing is just a nice tank bonus that passively heals you, whereas Resilience passively gives you more damage resist. And if you can, like I said, degrade your health a little bit, but still maintain constant heals, you can still have damage resist plus a ton of healing, so it's really good. In level 10, we have Adrenaline Shot. This makes it so all of your healing increases players' movements by 10%. This can stack up to 3 times for 5 seconds. If you hit people with extra syringes as well, this will just keep refreshing the timer. So assuming you hit somebody 3 times with a healing syringe, and then you hit them again with a 4th one, it doesn't just reset or give them another 10, or reset that first 10, it just goes back up to 30 seconds and or 30% and keeps going for that 5 seconds. You can just keep resetting the 5 seconds. You can also apply this to yourself with healing grenades, which can be really useful. Any AoE healing weapon like the healing grenades or the Hemoclobber can spread this amongst multiple teammates as well. This can also be used on teammates that are at full health as well, but you have to manually aim the healing darts and then hit them with them directly, which can be kind of a difficult process because sometimes teammates run around objects or don't run in a straight line, and you can easily miss them with this. But this one's pretty solid. Getting more movement speed up to 30% is really good, especially if you're already a fast class like Gunslinger. You can move incredibly quick with this, or even Medic can move incredibly quick with this. Movement speed is probably one of the most important skills in this game because it allows you to get from position to position and reposition yourself, assuming if enemies start really flooding in. So this one's always going to be a good one. I'd put this one into A tier. Our other level 10 is Combatant Doctor. This one increases the magazine size of all of your perk weapons by 50%, and it gives you 10% bonus movement speed. This one is one of the better combat skills for Medic if you would like to run it. The 50% larger magazine does help with certain weapons, like the Medic shotgun. You go from holding 10 rounds to 15. It can help with really any of the other Medic weapons as well. It benefits you for the most part, but mostly if you're going to take this, it's for the passive 10% bonus movement speed. It does allow you to get from place to place easier, and sometimes I will switch to this one depending on the map. Like if teammates are really split up in Containment Station and people are holding like the hallway on one side and then holding the hallway on the other side, if I stay in the middle, having Combatant Doctor is just going to help me move from position to position easier to be healing people, assuming I'm the only medic, and it can still be pretty good. It's not generally going to be as strong as Adrenaline Shot since this one gives more utility to the entire team, where this one is more for your own personal self, but it's still not bad, and it's certainly something I take if I'm playing solo medic, so B tier. Next up, we have Focused Injections. This makes it so every time you heal an ally with your healing dart, they get an increased 5% more damage for 5 seconds. This can stack up to 20%, so this can stack with 4 of them. Again, this stacks with like meta grenades and stuff. Increasing damage to the team, especially by something like 20%, is really good. That's pretty much like they just added another upgrade to their weapon passively. So this one is always going to be another really good perk and probably up into A tier. But I don't know if I'd put it above movement speed or below it. Both are really strong. The other level 15 perk is Acidic Rounds. This makes it so all of your perk weapons now poison Zeds and inflict poison damage over time. This one is a really bad perk because the poison damage is very minimal. The poison effect doesn't really add up to killing Zeds all that much faster. The only real thing that it does is increase the chance of the poison effect taking effect onto the Zeds, where then they'll start panicking, they'll start running around, they'll potentially leave you, but when they do panic, they go randomly as to where they're going to go. You also can already poison enemies with pretty much all of your weapons, because the healing darts do poison enemies that they don't kill, which they're very unlikely to unless it's like the Incision, as well as the basic attacks, the light attacks from the Hemoclobber will also poison. So this one is just adding another status effect that doesn't really help you a whole lot. It's okay in solo, but even in solo, you can still use the grenades to buff yourself with Focused Injections, and this one's probably one of the weakest, if not the weakest perk in the game right now. If it did something else, added more to this, maybe there'd be a reason to take it, but right now there really isn't. Moving on to the level 20 skills, we have Coagulant Booster. This makes it so each time you heal somebody, whether that be through a healing dart or through a healing tick from a grenade, you give them a 10% increased damage resist towards all damage, and this can stack up to 30% for 5 seconds. This one is another really good perk. It gives everybody damage resist. Damage resist is incredibly important in this game. It can make any of your tanky units even tankier, or tanky teammates even tankier. So if you have another medic, if you have a survivalist, if you have a SWAT, if you have a berserker, anybody like that, it will make tankier, and anybody that's squishy, it will also make them fairly tanky. So up into A tier as well. Our other option at level 20 is Battle Surgeon. This increases all of your perk weapons damage by 20%. Now, medic weapons already don't do the most amount of damage anyway, and if you want damage with medic, it usually makes more sense to go off perk. So taking something like the Kaboom Stick, the Crossbow, C4, something along those lines will net you more damage than just going with medic weapons. You can take this in solo if you want to get more experience with it, but this one is pretty weak. 20% doesn't help out a lot of the medic weapons all that much because they usually scale lower than other weapons. Like the medic shotgun does not get as strong as a lot of other shotguns. It still is pretty strong, but like the medic SMG doesn't scale as well as other SMGs. So this one doesn't really help you all that much, and it's a pretty weak perk. I'd probably put this one into C tier. And then we get to our level 25 Zed perks. Our first one is Airborne Agent. This one is incredibly strong. This one makes it so during Zed time you start releasing healing gas from yourself, which applies all the effects that any of your healing or your buffing effects will give to allies, as well as it counts pretty much as a bunch of meta grenades following you around. So any small enemies that run near you will be poisoned and will take a lot of damage and probably die very quickly. You can clear out crawlers, clots, stalkers, anything like that incredibly fast with this perk alone, as well as it can potentially save you from even larger Zeds like Skrakes and Flesh Pounds, because if they're poisoned, they may freak out and may stop targeting you. So this one's always going to be a very strong perk, and I think it's one of the strongest Zed time perks. I would put this one high up into S tier as well. And then our last level 25 perk is Zedative. This makes it so during Zed time, all of your perk weapons, so all the medic weapons, damage is increased by 30%, as well as any time that you kill any Zed during Zed time, it will trigger a toxic explosion to then deal damage to all enemies around there, as well as heal all allies. This essentially is when you kill something, it becomes a meta grenade. This can be kind of useful. It's not a bad option. I still don't think it's as strong as Airborne Agent, though, where Airborne Agent is such a reliable passive effect to give everybody bonus, as well as to give you just some nice area clear. This one makes it so you have to be active during Zed time, and you actually have to kill potentially multiple enemies with this. If you get a bunch of crawlers, that can be really useful if you get a bunch of clots or something like that. But if you're only getting attacked by large things, it's less consistent because medic won't be able to do as much damage. They can still certainly kill things like bloats, husks, sirens, and stuff like that during Zed time, but it's not going to be as effective as just targeting down small enemies. And for that, I don't think it's as strong, but it's still pretty good. I would probably put this one into A tier as well. I'm not sure, again, if it's above or below the buffing perks. Maybe below them slightly, but still pretty strong. As you can see, Medic has a lot of really strong abilities with just some weak ones. And that's really because Medic is set up to be either the team-based Medic or solo Medic. And Combat Medic can be fun to play, but at higher difficulties it just doesn't work very well. At least in a group setting. If you're playing solo, then sure, it works just fine. But if you're playing in a group setting, definitely go with more of the healing medic. It will help out the team entirely. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys so very much for watching it. If you guys are new here, be sure that you get subscribed. That way you get notifications whenever I post these videos. Special thanks to all the supporters of the channel. These are my members over here on YouTube, as well as my patrons over on Patreon. I really do appreciate that, and if you would like to be a part of that, there are links in the description below. As well as if you'd like to see my other Killing Floor content, be sure to click over here on this list right now. That'll take you to a full playlist of these videos. Thanks, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!